Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has said Boko Haram captives will be freed soon. The Naira yesterday appreciated significantly in the parallel markets in the investors and exporters window. The U.S. Secretary of State said U.S. government is not seeking a regime change in North Korea amidst tension over Pyongyang's weapon program. Yaman is set to complete his move to Paris Saint-Germain after Barcelona confirmed that the forward had told his teammates he plans to leave. Good day and welcome to African Broadcasting Network News. I am Ogale Mafuru. Now the news in full. The federal government has said it will convene a one-day national summit on justice with a view to fashioning out a workable document in the justice sector. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami San, made this disclosure via a statement in Abuja yesterday. He said the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, as well as Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, were among government agencies that have been directed to attend the summit billed for August 10th. Others are Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Prison Service, and all Attorneys General, Solicitors General, Chief Judges of all the 36 states of the Federation, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning, and all parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Justice. The statement, which was signed by the media aide to the AGF, Mr. Salihu Issa, added that about 10 civil society organizations, including International Federations of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Legal Defense and Assistance Project, LEDAP, and the Legal Resources Center for Social Legal Studies, and the academians were also invited to participate in the summit. Issa said the summit, which will be preceded by a two-day technical session on August 8 to 9, is to build consensus on how the nation's justice system could overcome its challenges. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has said 3 lecturers of the University of Maiduguri, 15 police women, 113 Chibok girls, and other Nigerians in Boko Haram's captivity will be freed soon. The acting president, who addressed Bring Back Our Girls campaigners during their march to the presidential villa in Abuja, said the federal government had contacted negotiators across the world to ensure their release. He added that the presidency was working with negotiators who had in the past assisted in securing the release of former hostages. Addressing the Bring Back Our Girls members, the acting president said negotiations were ongoing to secure the release of all Nigerians in Boko Haram captivity. Osinbajo, who was represented by Special Advisor on Political Matters, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, disclosed that he had been meeting daily with security chiefs to fast-track the release of all hostages being held by the insurgents and kidnappers. He lauded the BBOG agitators for their resilience, stressing that any country that would develop needed such patriotic and committed citizens to grow. And now on business. The Naira yesterday appreciated significantly in the parallel market and in investors and exporters window. At the close of business yesterday, the Naira appreciated to 2 Naira in the parallel market, while it appreciated by 1.29 Naira at the IE window. Data from the Financial Market Dealer Quote FMDQ showed that the indicative exchange rate for the window dropped yesterday to 366.59 Naira per dollar from 367.88 Naira per dollar on Monday. Also, the parallel market exchange rate dropped to 366 Naira per dollar yesterday from 365 Naira per dollar on Monday. It revealed that the Naira appreciation in the parallel market is driven by low demand for dollars. Amid sustained dollar supply to Bureau de Change subsector by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Gold was traded in green in morning trade on Wednesday on account of buying in precious metal by jewelers and retailers and investors. MCX Gold was up 0.21% or 59 rands at 28463 rands per 10 gram, while MCX Silver was down 0.57% or 218 rands at 38294 rands per 1 kg. SPDR Gold Trust GLD, the world's largest gold-backed exchange-traded fund, said its latest holdings stood at 791.88 tons, remain unchanged from previous business day. Gold can move in range of 28,600 rands to 28,850 rands, while silver can move to range of 38,000 rands to 38,600 rands in near term. Latest holdings of the largest civil-backed exchange-traded fund, New York iShares Civil Trust SLV, stood at 10,629.07 tons, remain unchanged from previous business day. On the other hand, equity benchmark indices scaled fresh record high on Wednesday. Rate cut hopes lifted markets to record as the Sensex surged 111 points to 32687 and Nifty hit a high life of 10,138, with interest-sensitive stocks hogging the limelight ahead of Harrow BI policy outcome. And now we'll join Okemite for news from around the world.
5 municipal ward by-elections will take place in 4 provinces on Wednesday. Some residents in KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, North, West and Western Cape will elect new councillor. The Independent Electoral Commission says the by-elections will be contested by 1 independent candidate and 25 candidates representing 9 political parties. Elections will be contested in Ward 33 in the Sunduzi municipality in KwaZulu-Natal, which was previously represented by the DA and became vacant as a result of the resignation of the councillor. The death of the ANC councillor of Ward 9 in the Mogalakwana municipality in Limpopo created a vacancy. The second election in the province will be in Ward 2, Ward 1 in the Modimul Mukumpungu municipality. The ANC led the ward until the resignation of its councillor. Ward 1 in the Nadile municipality in the northwest will also have a by-election as a result of an ANC councillor who died. In Cape Town, a DA councillor from Ward 4 left the party, creating a vacancy. More than 70 passengers escaped death narrowly when a bus they were traveling in was involved in a road accident that left 18 people injured. The early morning accident near Delalmel farm in Nahi Vachal involved 3 vehicles and blocked part of the road before police moved in to tow them away. The accident occurred when a lorry heading to Nakuru from Nairobi veered off its lane and rammed the side of the Climax coach's bus that was heading in the opposite direction. The bus driver lost control and the vehicle landed on the side of the road, while a truck that was also heading towards Nairobi hit the lorry that had stood in the middle of the road. Joel Kariuki, a witness, says the lorry driver could have fallen asleep at the wheel before veering off its lane. We'll go on a short break. More news when we return. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The U.S. Secretary of State says the U.S. government is not seeking a regime change in North Korea to amid tensions over Pyongyang's guns weapons program. But the Republican senator says President Donald Trump had told him there would be a war with North Korea if its missiles program continued, as Pyongyang claimed its latest missile could hit the U.S. West Coast. The second test of the intercontinental ballistic missile on Friday, celebrated by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, was the latest to be conducted in the defiance of a United Nations ban. North Korea's recent long-range missile tests have deepened concern about the threat Pyongyang poses to the U.S. mainland and threatened determination here to prevent any strike. The Pentagon has updated military options, but at the same time says a confrontation would be catastrophic. In light of that, Mr. Tillerson repeated at length that the U.S. was not seeking regime change and said the goal was dialogue, but one not based on the assumption that North Korea could keep its nuclear weapons. The strategy, says Mr. Tillerson, is a sustained campaign for peaceful but intensifying economic pressure to change its mind. But given the advances in ballistic technology demonstrated by the recent ICBM test, there is growing doubt denuclearization is a realistic possibility. As always, there are no good options when it comes to North Korea, but less time to pursue them. President Trump has repeatedly criticized China, which shares a land border with North Korea and it is closest economy, for not doing enough to stop Pyongyang's weapons program. However, Mr. Tillerson took a more diplomatic approach, saying that only the North Koreans are to blame for the situation. A federal judge announced on Tuesday that former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva faces a sixth trial on graft charges on allegedly accepting 1 million reais related to a sweeping political kickback scheme involving a country home in return for political favors for two big companies. The Odebrecht SA construction company and the SA engineering company were the firms making the improvement at the property located just north Sao Paulo. Lula's assets, including 3 apartments, a plot of land, 2 vehicles, and 2 bank accounts with more than the equivalent of $190,000, have already been confiscated by the judiciary. Lula has repeatedly proclaimed his innocence of any wrongdoing in the kickback scheme, which has seen over 100 politicians, businessmen, and others go to jail. 4 living former presidents put under investigation, and current leader Michael Temer charged with allegedly accepting bribes. Lula was found guilty last month and sentenced to nearly 10 years in prison for accepting 3.7 million reais in bribes from engineering firm OESD. Amount of money, prosecutor says the company spent refurbishing a beach apartment for Lula in return for his help winning contracts with state oil company Petróleo Brasileiro. The former president is free pending an appeal. If his guilty verdict is upheld, Lula would likely be barred for running again for presidency next year, which he says he wants to do. Now we'll join Anna for sports news.
Thanks, Okemote, and on sport news. Neymar is set to complete his move to Paris Saint-Germain after Barcelona confirmed that the forward had told his teammates he plans to leave. The Catalan club said the Brazilian informed his teammates on Wednesday that he had the intention of leaving the club and seeking his future elsewhere, and the coach has given him permission to leave training. PSG are ready to meet Neymar release clause of £222, making him the world's most expensive player. The fee would dwarf the £105 million Manchester United paid Juventus for Paul Pogba last summer. A 5-year contract for Neymar has been ready for several days and just needs to be signed. Barcelona said Neymar left the training ground 30 minutes after arriving on Wednesday. Bristol Robin amateur prop trying to make it as a professional Alex Grotro is about to face his first big test when Aviva Premiership side Alequins visit on Saturday in the club's first preseason game. Clifton Robbie Grotro, 26, has been given a chance to play for a professional contract at the club, and so far he has impressed forwards coach Mark Backwell with his efforts. Both clubs are still to announce their squad for the game on Saturday at Cliff RFC 2:30 p.m. But there is plenty of quality in the Queen's front row with the likes of Wales legend Adam. Jones England international Joe Malley and 2017 British and Irish Lion Kel Sickler in their ranks, although Sickler is likely to still be on holiday after a long summer in New Zealand. That's some step up from National League 2 South, where he was playing last season. Still on sport, Robert Kubica appeared in an official Formula One test season for the first time since 2011 when he rolled out of the pit line in 2017 spec Renault machinery during in-season test in Hungary on Wednesday, after he competed in Formula One between 2006 and 2010 and battled for 2008 title with BMW, winning the Canadian Grand Prix along the way. Kubica also conducted some simulator work for Mercedes, tested a DTM car, and last year returned to competitive circuit racing with a handful outing in sport car events. He was scheduled to drive for Privateer Bikers team in LMP1 this year, but withdrew on the eve of the season and instead carried out private tests in single-seater car. Kubica got back in cockpit of a Formula One car in June, completing 115 laps in the 2012 Spec E20 run by Renault, and spoke of his optimism and also wistfully reflected on what he had missed. Kubica talked up his prospect of making a Formula One comeback, and Renault duly announced that he would pilot the RS17 during the in-season test at the Hungary. Hundreds of Polish are flocked to the circuit to witness the hero drive a current spec Formula One car for the first time in 6.5 years. Kubica hit the track shortly after 9 o'clock local time, surviving an early scar as he clipped the inside of the garage wall, surrounded by a mass of photographers. That's it on sports. Let's join Ogale Mafuro for the top stories.
Thanks, Anne, for that sport news. And that sport news wraps it up on our today's bulletin. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories that made the headlines. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has said Boko Haram's captive will be freed soon. The naira yesterday appreciated significantly in the parallel market and in the investors and exporters window. The U.S. Secretary of State said U.S. government is not seeking a regime change in North Korea amid tension over Pyongyang weapon program. Yaman is set to complete his move to Paris Saint-Germain after Barcelona confirmed that the forward had told his teammates he plans to leave. Thanks for watching. You can follow us on our social media platform by visiting our website at www.abnchannel.net. Follow us on Twitter at ABN Channel, like us on Facebook at ABN TV, and also kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Broadcasting Network. Thanks for watching. I am Ogale Mafuru.